Hello and welcome to Coronacrisis. My name's David Haythornthwaite and I'm the chairman of AFC Fylde. And over the next few weeks and months, I'm hopefully going to take you through what goes on behind the scenes of a non-league football team at times like this. We're going to discuss all the issues regarding behind the scenes, the players, off-field staff, all the things that contribute to the running of the club, and how we're dealing with the issues that are being thrown at us on a daily and weekly basis, so that it gives you a really good insight to the club and the running of clubs in general. So I look forward to you joining me on this journey.
So David, thank you for joining us once again. In this section, we'd like to move away from the crisis a little bit and go and talk about yourself. We know you're a big England fan and you love your football. You're a big football fan. You've often mentioned that, and we'd just like some personal stories and just what's gone on when you've been following England and any football in your time.
Yeah, well, I think that anybody who's an England fan, and I'm going to test you a little bit, Adam, here, knows, I suppose, that there's three critical games that wherever you are in the world, it's kind of your duty to make sure you're there and support them against three particular teams. Would you know those three teams? I may have told you this before, did I, Adam?
You haven't mentioned to me. I'd suggest Germany and Argentina would be up there.
Yep, that's right. Germany and Argentina. The other one's got to be easy.
Scotland,
that's right. So those are the three games that I think that most England fans would agree. It's kind of your duty to turn up and be there. And often when I've been to those games, I've run into people from, who live in Australia, New Zealand, Canada. People come from everywhere. Those are the big three games. And I've got, fantastic memories from three games, one against each of those countries. And I suppose the first one, taking them in order, was Euro 96. And famous really for the incredible Gascoigne goal. Probably one of the greatest goals that's ever scored at Wembley by a brilliant footballer and against our arch enemy. And if you can remember the game, it was it was a beautiful sunny day. I remember I was living in New York at the time. I'd flown over, met up with my friends in London, gone to the game. It was a great atmosphere. It always is, England, Scotland, and all the Scotland fans were sort of parked above us really at one end, and we were in the lower tier and they were in the higher the tier above us. So the atmosphere was great, and in those days, 96, England fans had kind of regained control of Wembley because, go back to the 70s, if you went on those games, 70s and early 80s, then it would be 90% Scottish, it was like an invasion. But now it was back in proportion, probably 80% English and 20% Scottish, but still, great atmosphere, great banter, all those things that we love, some great singing going on between them. And a good friendly banter as well. It was great. As you probably recall, Gary Neville, England went 1-up. Gary Neville crossed, Shearer, great header, and 1-0. So 1-0 up at home against the enemy, and then sort of, I think maybe 15-20 minutes to go, Scotland get a penalty, and you're thinking, oh, bloody hell. Anyway, it's at far end. We couldn't see it really properly, but anyway, I've looked at it again. It doesn't look like a penalty to me, but referee gives it, and up steps McAllister, hits it to Seaman's right, and Seaman makes fantastic save. If you watch that game, he made 2 or 3 great saves in that game, really good saves, and saves it, and virtually from that we go down the other end, and Gascoigne scores that fantastic goal and win 2-0. So that was a great day out, and lots of celebrations you could imagine after that game. So that was 96. Definitely up there as one of the best games watching England. I then sort of go forward to 2001, and probably arguably what most would say, who actually, they have that famous "I was there" saying, don't they? I was there. And 2001, Germany away, has to be, one of those highlights when we beat them 5-1. Just recall that was in a World Cup qualifier, and in that sort of season qualifier, we'd lost to Germany in the last game played at Wembley, and to lose the last game played at Wembley to the Germans was like, whoa, that's terrible. We could lose anywhere else, but not our last game at Wembley. That was the old Wembley before they knocked it down. And I don't even remember. Do you remember who scored the goal for Germany?
Yeah, free kick, wasn't it? Was it Hamann?
Yeah, Dieter Hamann, playing for Liverpool at the time. So Dieter Hamann, and he scored 1-0, and it was Kevin Keegan was manager, and he resigned after that. So that was his last game. So last game played at Wembley, Dieter Hamann scores, and Keegan resigns, and we're halfway through a World Cup campaign. Along comes Sven-Göran Eriksson, and to everyone's surprise, really. And Sven comes along, and off we go to Germany. And it was just one of those games, Adam, where I just had a great feeling about it. And when you look at the England side, then we had some good players, great players in that side, and I just had a good feeling about it. And I'm not a betting man, but somebody was having a bet, and I said, do you know what? I'm going to have a bet. And it was 33-1. England were 33-1 to win 3-1 in Germany. So I thought, I put 200 quid on. And I thought, right. So you can imagine, there we are. We're on the game. We've had a fantastic day. The game was played in Munich. And if you've ever been to Munich, it's a great place, is Munich. And we've been in the beer halls all day, and singing and having a great time. Get on the game and go 1-0 down after 6 minutes. Yanker scores. You're thinking, here we go again. But very quickly turned it round, and just critically just scored before half time to go 2-1 up. And you're thinking, it's on. And then, of course, Michael Owen scores almost immediately, and we're 3-1 up. Well, by this time, everybody in the crowd, I've shared with them, because I've got the betting slip in my pocket, that, hey, 3-1, I'm on for, like $7,000 here, which was a lot of money back then. It's still a lot of money then. So I've got this betting slip, and they're all going, Dave, that's brilliant. And within 10 minutes, Owen scores again. And, they're all sort of consoling me. And then, of course, Heskey gets the fifth, and after the end of the game, they go, sorry about your bet. I said, look, let me tell you something. I'd have paid 7,000 quid to watch England beat Germany 5-1 in Germany. So don't console me. You don't need to. So it was that was a great night to be there. And following on from that, of course, we then qualified for the World Cup, and which was in Japan that year, 2002. And this was one of those where I decided to go to one game, and that was the Argentina game, because again, had to go. But I hadn't told my wife, and it's, those of you who listen know it's always that kind of difficult time, because you think, well, yeah, I'll tell her tomorrow, and I'm going, and then you don't tell her tomorrow, and then the next day comes, and before you know it, anyway, with about a week to go, I still hadn't told her I was going. And I'd only been married about 4 years, and I've got 3 young kids, and anyway, she looked at me one night and she said to me, why have I got a funny feeling that you're going to this game? So I had to tell her, and you can imagine it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was very bad for a while. But I went, and we went out there with my good friend Mick Trowfall, and I landed we went to Tokyo, stayed in Tokyo that night, and then flew to Sapporo, where the game was. And my friend, who's a travel agent, had booked us in in the Sheratons, which is just outside Sapporo. And I remember when we checked in, some great little stories in this game and this trip. And when we checked into the hotel, I looked around. I thought there's a lot of smart dressed Argentinian people here. It's a little bit posh, really. So anyway, we make checking in. We get checked in, get in the lift, and there's half the Argentinian team. So we're in the Argentinian team hotel, which we didn't know we were going to be in. And they'd all just done been to a team talk, so 3 or 4 of them in the lift, going up to the rooms, obviously. So off we go to the game, and a couple of little interesting things about the game. The manager of Argentina was
Bielsa.
Bielsa is at Leeds. Yeah, he was a manager, and do you know he played in the back four for?
Yeah, Pochettino.
Pochettino did, that's right. So Pochettino played, and Bielsa, of course, got a great link now to English football. Veron was playing, I think he was at United, could have been at United at the time, can't remember. So there we are. We go to the game, Beckham penalty, win 1-0, and great. Argentina, fantastic support, like England. They'd come a long way, we'd come a long way. There was good banter again between the fans. Back to the hotel, celebrate. On the top floor of the hotel, there's a bar, massive bar, and everybody was up there. David Platt, everybody's up there. Reporters, England fans, and they had a little Filipino band playing in the corner. And so I went up. I said, you don't happen to know "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, dear"? And she said, yeah, go on, I'll sing it. Well, the story goes, and it was reported in the Daily Mail, that after about 16 renditions of this, eventually Bielsa comes down and said, look, I know you've won, but would you mind not singing that one more time? We're all trying to go to sleep in the hotel. But it was a great night and a great experience. So, yeah, those were 3. And funnily enough, you were very good on that. Can you tell me who the ref was that time?
I'll gamble with Kalina.
Yeah, it was Kalina. Yeah,
okay.
It was Kalina. Yeah. So again, very very ref, great character, wasn't he, Kalina? And they'd flown him across because they kind of realised not flown him across. He was obviously one of the World Cup referees, but he was. It shows the importance of the game and the great character, and we don't see him anymore, do we? Kind of miss him, but you forget those sort of characters of the game. But yeah, those were my England experiences. Worst one, I have to tell you my worst one, and that was sitting in Bloemfontein, South Africa, after we had beaten by Germany in a game probably where we were a little bit robbed. But my God, Bloemfontein is probably one of the last places God made. And he probably forgot. He wasn't too bothered when he made Bloemfontein. I can tell you, not the greatest place, and it's a long way. It's a long way from home after you've beaten by the Germans. So that was probably my worst experience. But I've had some fantastic times, and still, when I get a chance to go and watch England, you're going a lot, I believe, now. So it's a great experience, isn't it? So.
Have you been reminiscing watching Euro 96 and everything on the telly at the minute?
I haven't really had a lot of time, to be fair. We're just, because of all the things that are going on with the football and Mill Farm and the businesses, I'm really probably working harder than I've ever done in my life at the moment. So I've picked up, I've actually tended to watch a little bit more of the cricket and the golf. I mean, I love watching all the Ryder Cup. I'll probably go do a session on Ryder Cup sometime if you want. I love watching all the replays of that, and I've loved watching some of the Ashes tests, which are fantastic. But I haven't caught up too much on the football now.
When you talk, obviously you have a smiling face. Everyone does about sport. It just shows what sport does mean to this country, doesn't it? It means everything. Really.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's what, as I've talked about, that everybody, whether you work in an office or in and a lot of people unfortunately have dreary, mundane jobs. You can imagine working in a call centre, for example, or working on a shop floor of a factory, putting the same thing every day, or packing, or whatever your job is. If it's mundane, you look forward to Saturday. You look forward to Saturday whatever your sport is, cricket, football, rugby, doesn't matter. You look forward to it, and it's it's just something that we have a fantastic passion for, and you know, the the great thing that I'm always proud of, being an Englishman first, I suppose a Brit second, is that, you know, we as a country gave the world so many great games. We gave them football, you know, we gave them rugby, we gave them cricket. Scotland, you gave them golf, you know, so we gave them so much, didn't we, that came from this country, and that's something I'm always immensely proud of.
Long may it continue.
Yeah, long may it continue, and let's hope we can get back to games with crowds, because without the crowd, as we talked about earlier, it's not really a game for the players or for the fans.
Thanks for sharing your memories.
No problem.